radio show?
I do. My radio show is Integrity Talk Radio, and it airs on Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Excellent.
What's the
Integrity
accent?
Talks.
I am originally from Jamaica.
What part?
I was born in Kingston, but my father is from Spanish Town and my mother is from Westmoreland. Okay. I was going to actually tell you the little town, which you wouldn't know, but
How you know? I've been there 12 times.
Really?
Yes.
She is from a small town called Porter's Mountain outside of Savannah.
Nope, I don't know.
Because actually most people don't go to that side of the island, but it is not too far from where Negril is.
Okay. Been all up in the Grill and Old Trails and Kingston and Mobay. And
Yeah. Have you been to the other side of the island? They have more kind of, it's a quieter side of the island. Errol Flynn, the actor, had a house over there.
Human trafficking?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, Port Antonio.
Okay.
That side of the island. It's very quiet, very pretty.
That's wonderful.
I
You going to go back?
I would like to have a house in Jamaica. So it's something that I'm working on. I have a lot of projects in my mind, and that's kind of one of the things that I'd like to do. I'd like to own property and do a little Airbnb, but I'd also like to have a little castle to go back to.
I was actually going to buy one and have one over there, like a summer house or whatever type of thing. But my concern was when I wasn't there, squatters and other people living on the property. And
right. So it would be something that you'd have to have managed.
Right.
So that would be something, and like I said, I have a lot of projects in my mind because I'm thinking I could buy property, but it would have to be managed. I could start a management company because I'm sure there are lots of other people that want to do the same thing. And if you can get somebody reputable that has an organization that does just that, then that would be a kind of another stream of income, as they say.
Yes, excellent. I remember the first time I went with someone not from Wakanda.
Okay.
So my Ascaran friend. Yeah, and we were walking. I'm the type of person, when I go to a place, I may land in a tourist spot, but I'm not staying there.
Right.
I wanted the authenticity of it. I don't remember the names. We just kind of went all around the island. We had a driver, just went everywhere. But we were walking, and this man was sitting on the stoop, and he said, "Young boy, you know what to do with the queen there."
And he didn't know.
And he had no idea how to respond. I said, "He's doing just fine, thank you. I appreciate it." We just kept going, but it really did go.
Yeah, they do.
over his head.
That's kind of one of the things I like, and that's why I kind of like the South too, because you get these little affectionate labels. Like you get to Jamaica, they call you queen.
Yeah.
Or they might call you daughter. What's going on, daughter? Stuff like that. And just down here in the South. It took a little getting used to, but somebody's taking your order and they're like, "What you gonna have, baby?" And I'm just like, "All right."
Yes.
You really want to know what I want?
No. It was cool. I enjoyed it though.
What do you want with your other hoe?
What?
Yeah.
No.
It's a term of endearment.
No, it's not.
It is.
Said the pimp.
No, well, depends upon the perspective, right?
You do not ask me in that form or fashion.
I'm just saying.
By all means.
Be like, "Yo, what's up? Hook up."
No, we're not. So, SERANNE, anyway. SERANNE, you have a son.
Be like,
I do.
Who is absolutely phenomenal and doing
think
big
so.
things.
He is. So his name is Emmanuel WYNTER, and he just put out an album called These Past 2 Years. He wrote everything on the album, and he played all of the instruments on the album.
Wow.
His primary instrument is violin. But he plays violin like you've really never seen it played.
Demonstrate it.
Huh? I can't really demonstrate it. I can do it behind his neck, like this. I can tell you the types,
between his legs,
the different, the type of. So it's
Put
not
the bow
that
in his toes.
in terms of showy antics, but it's terms of like music,
the sound.
Like for instance, one of the artists that he really likes is Gary Clark Jr., jazz guy. Mm-hmm. My son can replicate on his violin what Gary Clark Jr. does on his guitar.
Nice.
So, it's all that kind of stuff. And people, when they say violin, people tend to do, a fiddle, which my son doesn't like.
Right.
And he plays both electric and acoustic. His electric violin is a 5-string violin, which technically means it's a viola because it has that C. But
for the technical buffs.
Right.
He he's phenomenal, and it's really interesting as a parent. You only want your child to be happy, and you want them to do what it is they want to do. And I had a child.
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, you want them to fulfill their potential. I guess it's a better way of saying it. And
but I had potential.
Right. And I'm sure you're still working it out. Right, because the thing is, potential, we don't realize it, but potential is an unlimited pool. It's an unlimited pool because, say, you had potential to be a singer. You're a singer. It doesn't mean you can't be an actor or a baker. I mean, you could do whatever. And
unless you suck at it.
But then you just roll it over and say, what are my other talents? And at the age, and as a teenager, he knew what he wanted to do. He's been making money from music since he's 17 years old. Essentially running his own business because he did his own bookings. He did his own posters.
Wow.
All that kind of stuff. So I'm really, really very proud of him.
That is awesome.
What got him into that? I mean, does he come from a musical family?
So, Mama Bear here.
She beat him.
I knew the value of music. And I see my goal as a parent is to expose and allow my child to explore so that when he was ready to make decisions, he had a breadth of information to utilize in making that decision. So growing up, I knew he was going to do music of some kind, and he picked the instrument. I didn't care what he played.
Okay.
And it turns out that he is very adept at music. He started violin when he was 6. Within a year, he was playing with the kids who had been playing the violin for 2 years.
Wow.
He just had an aptitude for it. He has a very good ear. You can have him. You can call him in and say, "Hey, can you come play with me?" You don't have to tell him what you're playing. He'll listen, and then he'll fit in. So he definitely had the gift for it. Now, of course, anybody who has a child knows the middle school years are just
brutal.
They're brutal.
Yeah.
So
middle schoolers are horrible little people.
He at middle school is like, "Well, I don't want to play the violin. I want to play guitar." I said, "You can play the guitar too, but you're not giving up the violin, brother, man."
Right.
That's the transition I had to go through because I want to play saxophone, but I got stuck with a clarinet. It's like, what black man plays a clarinet?
You. Apparently.
Yeah.
So I made him stick with it. He picked up the guitar. He played sax for a little while. And because he has a good ear, he taught himself to play keyboard. But if anybody has seen a string player play the keyboard, it's hysterical. Because as a string player, your thumbs are holders. They don't actually play. So he would play the piano with 8 fingers. It was because growing up, I played piano.
Because he's holding the piano with his thumbs.
Yeah, so he's like, it's his thumbs. He's like, I don't. I'm like, son, you could use them. So he eventually took classes. So
excellent. Does he sing as well?
He does, and that's a very sort of interesting thing. When he was in elementary school, his teacher, he went to Catholic school. We lived in New York, and they try all the kids out for shows or whatever. And when she came up on Emmanuel, she said, "Oh my goodness, he has perfect pitch." So she drafted him in, and even though we didn't go to that church, he did the Christmas show. He sang "Oh Holy Night," all this kind of stuff. But he hated it because when did they practice? During recess. So he could sing, but when he started going to open mics here, he would only play his violin. And I kept saying, "You can't sing," and he said, "I don't know." And then eventually, he, in his own time, he started to come out to sing. He would do harmonies with people until, you know. And I kept encouraging him because I knew there were songs in his head. I'm like, it's time for you to start doing your stuff.
Right.
Because obviously, singing as a child is different than singing when you're an adult.
Absolutely.
Your bass sort of
right. His voice changes,
and
so
everything drops. You go from there.
So there are all that kind of stuff that he had to contend with. But I'm really, really proud of him. He's really worked on coming out of his
shell.
And you know.
How old is he?
Emmanuel is 23 years old.
Okay. Does he have the ability? I know now one of the things that I really like watching, and as they call it now, lurking on YouTube for, is the layering, where they'll have the little recorder box and they'll strum out a beat or something, and then they'll have that going, and then they'll pick up another instrument, and then they'll do that and layer it. Is he have that technical savviness to layer?
He does, because the thing about his CD is, he recorded his CD at home. Wow. He created a little studio for himself.
Nice.
Which he's going to give me pointers on how to work with microphones and such.
Oh, okay.
Such delights.
Good.
So he did that. Now, with that particular thing, he hasn't really done that like in a show, but he does a fair amount at home.
Right.
Where he'll lay what's his term? A riff down,
right,
and then he'll do something, and then he'll
keep the riff on repeat, and then he'll put something on top of it. I love that.
Yeah, I love that when musicians kind of go up on stage and just immediately create a sound. But typically, before he did his own stuff, he played over tracks. But sometimes they wouldn't know he was improvising on stage, and people really wouldn't know. It just sounded like a jazz song or whatever.
Excellent. Have you all ever done a duet together, or are you?
No, not really, because I took music for a really long time. So technically, I'm okay on the piano, but as far as thinking musically, I'm not really there. Like my son doesn't need anything written down.
Right.
Me, I can play just about anything. Just write it down first, and give me a couple of weeks to practice it. And I can hit you up.
Right.
But with him, it's more organic for him.
Got it.
That's what my challenge was when it came to music, because I grew up in the church and I was technically trained from a piano perspective. And when the Holy Spirit hit in the sanctuary, unless there was some sheet music that went along with that,
right?
I'd stop playing. So it didn't work out too well.
Because you couldn't get that.
Unless it was in writing.
Yeah, no, but
give me some notes.
Yeah, you have
I can sight read to death.
Right. You do have some people where that's part of their gift, where they just
play by ear.
They hear the music. The way we hear words, they hear notes or whatever. Right. So, and it's funny watching him too, because I've seen. So, I am, I guess, a helicopter mom, kind of.
Always hovering.
I love copter.
Because I was always there hovering. Okay. So Emmanuel didn't get his license, and I do apologize, babe, that I'm telling your secrets. But he didn't get his license until he was like 19.
Keep going.
Almost 20. Because I would take him everywhere.
So he didn't lose his virginity until when?
That I don't know. I guess there's some things you don't tell your mom.
Wait, SERANNE's like, he don't have it. I brought it with me, as a matter of fact. I got it with me today.
He is wonderful.
I have kept up with that too. Right? As a good mom should. I know exactly where his virginity is.
Absolutely. So, I've seen him like play with people, and they're up there talking, and it's like, yeah, but what were you playing right there? Were you playing the tonic or the minor? And I'm just like, what is he talking about? But he knows, he really understands.
It's really a different language.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It
It
is.
really is.
It
The more
is.
fluent you are at it, the more successful you become.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
So you see him going far, and this is his walk and path in life.
Yes, definitely.
This is it.
It is definitely what he wants to do. It's what he's meant to do. I've watched him play, and it involves his whole self, his whole body. The music just sucks him in.
Wonderful. So as I listen to your show, I'm hoping to hear some of his music and have you interview him so that the listeners don't just get the music, but the man behind the music
Absolutely,
as well.
and that's one of the things I'd like to do is highlight independent artists, mainly from the Charlotte area. But I mean, if we can get people recorded stuff over, to get them to highlight them. And I have in one of the visions for my shows, I want to do these little tiny concerts with those musicians.
Nice.
Have them come in and play a couple of songs so people can kind of hear it.
Right.
And, they can talk about their music and that kind of stuff. So that really is what I'd like to do with my show. And I know it's integrity talk, but I think integrity is not just honesty. Integrity has to do with the whole organism, and it's a continuity. So I kind of want to talk about people and how if you have a purpose or you develop a purpose, you need to be consistent and be throughout your life. I mean, if you say you want to be, I don't know, the best swimmer in the world, well, are you practicing?
Right.
So you got to really...
When I learn how to swim, I'll be the best swimmer in the world.
Right. So, and it's just the kind of thing, because people need to understand, even a small step is a step.
Right.
As long as you're stepping in that direction,
Right.
then
Absolutely.
you're absolutely building on your purpose and building on your goal.
Excellent. Excellent.
Family, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break and come back because you're tuned in to the Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRB Media,
The voice of the community. Very good.